pay for because he owed a debt which kept him from was basically enjoying his afterlife, and we had to get the book back to its rightful owner in order to get Jism out of this predicament, which led us to Mechanus, the gate town outside of the
Automata.
Yes, thank you. That Automata, the gate town outside of Mechanus, the plane of law, and when we got there, we went to the local bureaucrat's office and did all of our paperwork because it is a plane of law, so they're all about paperwork, of course. And then we were actually kind of on our way to do the plot thing, and we smelled some good food, and we decided to stop in for food, and that ended up being like a couple of hours of play, I think. Wherein booze was drank and food was had, including a lot of charcuterie, which was a word that I haven't used that much in D&D probably ever. And also my character bought a whole bunch of meat.
Yeah, well, we had charcuterie. I walked out of that game and said to my wife, you know, your parents, my wife grew up in a conservative, charismatic, you know, where they really did believe in the satanic panic kind of thing. And I said, your parents thought that Dungeons and Dragons was all about summoning demons. And I just spent the last hour role-playing, eating smoked meats and charcuterie.
Smoked meats, the food of the devil.
Well, you know, those meat sticks, if you eat too many...
I'm just disappointed you didn't put in an entry for that yet.
You know what? I couldn't remember. We had two. I thought I came up with 2 really good 5-word summaries, and I forgot them. I've been battling this cold for like a week. Came down with it on like Saturday last week. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of like staying alive at this point.
Yeah, that section is always a little bit funny. That basically summarized the last bit of the last on Hex session in there. Autopsy hour with the circus.
Yeah, I saw yours. Yeah,
because for some reason 2 of our player characters took the time out of their day to cut a creature we killed to pieces. I don't really remember its name now. What's the name of that creature they cut up, Josh?
A Kuotoa?
I don't think it was a Kuotoa. We didn't fight any Kuotoa last week.
Well, and I hope you wouldn't eat one of those. Those are sentient.
Yeah, you just never know, though. That liver may be useful. It's just a magical spell, so we better take it apart.
Well, too late. They did.
Well, I think that was a pretty good summary. So take your 40. It's probably gonna bump. Yes?
He forgot the most important part.
Oh, he did. He did. Take 35.
Was that where we met Leo?
And Shannon can add the important bit.
It was the last thing that we saw. He ate something that that made him pass out almost, you know, like
that would be the pandemonium insanity swill.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he got, you know, somebody cleared off his brain or whatever, and he sat up and he's like, "Take me back!" It was really funny.
Yeah, he managed to fail his saving throw, so he took the damage. The problem was he's got he's tissue paper, so
I have 4 hit points.
So psychic damage on the D4 managed to do him in.
It was really good.
I did forget that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Take 5, Shannon, for that.
That's right, baby. Come on.
Jeff, I think didn't quite earn his full 40.
Compared to what else we did, it wasn't that big of a mission.
Well, no, but that was what everybody said, Jeff, when we did our conclusion, and we did the kind of a allotment of XP at the end of the session. It seemed like the general consensus was Jeff was really playing his character, and that was that was a real good part of the experience. So it's good to remember that's where we are, because of course the camera once more returns and we zoom into this place of the red gray buildings all in lines, perfectly laid out, bustling people in front of it, and it comes to the large glass windows of the meat shop here, the smoked meat shop. Thandol's Smoked Meats is there on the sign, and there is Thandol behind the counter, and all of you are there in the booths. Stacked in front of you is copious amounts of smoked meats and smoked cheeses and smoked fish and just a delight, savory and even sweet and strange and wonderful, and alcohol and laughter, as indeed Gex has just informed you he would like to go back to the brink of death. And then there we are.
We'd slap scent into him, but that might take him back under.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying yourselves over there? Thandol cries out from behind the counter. Looks like that wasn't my meat that sent him under. It was whatever that brew you've got.
Gex kind of gasps from the floor and goes, "Water!"
Oh, yeah, water. And he says to the young boy who'd been helping him, bring him some water from the back. And the young boy goes off and comes back and brings tankard of water to you.
Hey, looks like little Gex here is a bit of a lightweight now. He kind of like pats him on the back. You'll be alright, lad.
Thandol goes back to, cleaning the glass in front of the meat and things like that.
Oh.
It's almost like he's waiting for you to advance the plot.
This game is so meta.
We do have our next clue, because before Gex passed out from insanity swill, he did tell us that Harrion, that was his name, right? Harrion, something like that. The maker of the book. This used to be his place. Yeah, Huron.
Iron.
Okay.
Huron.
Peyron. This used to be where Peyron set up shop, but in the years since Jessim died or whatever, he's moved on. But apparently he was seen at another bar in town. I think it was the Divine Machine. Is that it?
10 point. I mean, I'm not going to give points for that, but thank you for taking notes.
So we do have a next clue once Gex's feet are firmly underneath him again.
Gex says, "I'm all right. Let's go."
The GM asks hintingly, "Is there anything you'd like to ask of the owner, or talk about the place, or anything?" Since he's obviously occupying the space now.
I think we only got the name of the place. He didn't really give us much of a description other than I think it was like a tavern or something like that.
Yep, because that's all you asked about.
Yeah, and I know he said like 2 alleys over and 3 up or something along those lines, so.
Yep.
Can you tell us anything more about the Divine Machine?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily, well, some of you are probably a little tall for what it, it normally caters to halflings. It's run by a halfling. But, there's normal chairs. But if you're especially tall or large basher, you might have a hard time.
What does Heron look like? Can you tell us?
Well, I'll be honest.
You didn't come up with a description for him, did you?
No. He's, well, white-haired, darker skinned, thin, old chap. I'm not sure he's always on the up and up, if you know what I mean.
Seems like a strange town to live in if you're not.
You'd be surprised. Order, lawfulness can be blind. It only looks for what it thinks it's looking for. There's crime everywhere. And here, crime pays. If you can get away with it. But
Something has to be keeping this town where it's at.
well, lawful good souls, or lawful neutral souls, or whatever your alignment is on the Great Wheel, all sorts find their way through the Outlands, including automata, and some manage to stay here and make a goodwill. I mean, who'd have thought that Modrons, who don't really need to eat, would enjoy these? And he points to them. Slimish Jameses. Have you ever bitten into a Slimish James?
I have not.
Say that I've been into it now, James.
Gex is like poking his head up above the table level. Is like,
Do they
what?
snap when you bite into them?
What is that?
They snap into a Slimmy James.
That sounds like a euphemism for something.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid saying
I
so, but
wonder.
yeah.
Methinks he just caught the game master.
That would make you say, "Oh yeah," when you're done.
Oh yeah, exactly. I was trying to get the accent to do an "oh yeah." It just
Oh yeah!
exactly. He does that.
into it.
Hey, are they championed by a particularly macho man?
Yeah, and as you do that, the little assistant does an imitation of Macho Man Randy Savage.
Does it require you to wear sunglasses and a white cowboy hat when you eat them?
Yeah, no, it requires you to tear your shirt.
And armbands with tassels?
Hello, fourth wall. We're becoming very well acquainted.
Oh my god.
And Jeff knows this. I kind of use the camera as a metaphor all the time, and because I do view the fourth wall as somewhat permeable for us as players. Of course, we're viewing this meta world, so I enjoy it that way. If that's something that doesn't go with you, we can tone it down a bit, but it's kind of I love
think it's
kind
funny.
of breaking that.
Oh yeah.
Well, you've followed me game to game, Jeff. Not everyone has. Some people, I think, oh, what? This is not straight enough for me. I need
I like a
my
little bit of
straight and
comedy.
narrow.
Yeah.
You're talking to the guy who's played a half-orc bard who is in a band called the Sex Crossbow, and a half-elf bard named Ziggy Stardust. It's always bards for me. I don't know why.
I love that.
I'm not actually terribly disconvinced that David Bowie wasn't an elf to begin with.
I think half-elf because they've got that charisma modifier.
I think you're right.
I don't think they do in this edition.
Not in second, no, but in other editions.
Oh, yeah.
As far as comedy in D&D, I think the best thing that's ever been said about D&D is the meme that says how it starts, how every D&D game starts, and it shows the Fellowship of the Ring, and then down at the bottom it says how it ends, and it shows Monty Python running away.
Pretty much.
Let's not get into the Monty Python references.
No, yeah, I try to keep those to a minimum. I try and be at least.
Have you guys
Yeah,
read?
at that
Have you
point,
Get
guys?
started on
just
Brave
not-
Brave Sir Robin.
At this point,
Or
it's
Holy
not
Hand Red.
original.
No. Have you guys read DM of the Rings?
Oh, I have.
Yeah, there are a couple of good comments in that on Monty Python references to DM. And if you
Yeah,
haven't
but
read
that's
DM of the Rings, you should.
At this point, however, if you use Monty Python references in D&D game, it's kind of cliche now.
You know, I
It
played
was
a lot
cliche. It was cliche 20 years ago. Let's be honest. It was cliche when 2E was still the current edition.
I played a lot of 7th Sea, and during our 7th Sea games, we had a timer running on how long it took from start of game to the first Princess Bride or Three Musketeers.
Oh yeah.
How long did it take?
Our record longest time was 8 minutes and 16 seconds, if I'm remembering correctly. The quickest was literally like 2 seconds.
Was it inconceivable?
Indeed.
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go back. So yeah, the young boy starts, and hums a little bit of, and the innkeeper Thandal says, I don't think he was on the up and up though, and I do find some of his, and he touches a panel behind him. Some of his inventions were useful, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't aging meat in this. I'm pretty sure he was using it for what you might call nefarious purposes. I'm just saying, and then he touches the little panel and it goes back into hiding. You wouldn't know that there was half a cow back there. You could hide yourself. Or another. I mean, it's kind of convenient, but it's not the only secret place.
How much room is back there?
Well, enough for half a cow. Butchered, so...
Is that what you have in there now?
Just about. Less snout, hooves. And, of course, entrails. Things like that. I mean, it's just aging meat. Some of that stuff is tough. It's much better aged. Aged, then smoked. Not smoked, then aged. Trust me.
So what other things did he leave around this place when you took it?
Well, these are the only strange things I've found. He hired a cleaning company to clean it all up, so it's all taken care of. It was immaculate in a way, but the first time I bumped into that, I almost went in and didn't come out. They'd have found me decaying in there, wondering where the new owner of this property was. Like
How
some
fascinating
murder novel.
Yeah, I've got. I'm thinking that might be a perfect hiding place for, murder.
Well, I don't want to conjecture on his character except to say that in a place of, well, law and order, why would you want to hide things?
You'd be surprised.
Devin starts flipping through the book that they gave him when we went through the bureaucrats. I'm fairly certain there's a law against that in here.
Only if you install them.
Ah.
I happen to discover one. It's entirely legal to discover secret hiding spots. It's illegal to install secret hiding spots. It's a very fine line.
Not surprising.
This world, well, as long as you're near Mechanus, is built on fine lines. Anything else I can send with you to go? Extra rations? I come with all... These are keto-approved rations.
Actually, I'm gonna have a little bit of trouble carrying all this. Could you wrap it up and we'll come back and get it on the way out?
Absolutely. Be glad to. And if anyone wants to put anything on layaway, that is also an option.
Is this guy named Thandal Walton?
No, but I don't extend credit. So layaway or this fine selection of meats could walk out the door any day, and if it goes, it might take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months. I don't know. It depends on what it is to get it back. This is a finite economy. We don't have just-in-time shipping or anything like that. What do you think this is?
Do you have any Phoenix?
I have, in the past, had 100-year-old Phoenix egg. Fantastic. Otherworldly.
I hear the Phoenix liver pate is something to haunt your dreams with ancient longing.
I tend to avoid the body parts of the Phoenix. I've heard that they're more useful and more expensive and better used at, say, the Spellcaster's Supply or places like that.
I thought the Phoenix burned and into ash when it.
Yes, that's why phoenix liver is so incredibly rare and expensive. It's a delicacy on the plane of fire.
You would know better than I. I've only had the egg. And it cost me dearly. 6 months of income, but it was worth it. They say I'll live another 3 years because of it, but I don't believe them. But I want to believe them, and maybe I'll live 3 more years just by wanting. Anyway, gentlemen, it's almost closing time.
Oh yes, we'll be gone.
You have been very good customers, but as an NPC, my time is up. Union.
Of course.
Union rules, you know? I need my smoke break, my time at the craft table. It'll be fine. Anyway, there's the door. See you. I'll keep your stuff safe. There's another secret hiding spot. I'll put it away. No customers or even the help will see it. I promise. And he takes the big tray of food that you're putting in storage with him and wraps it all up in butcher paper and puts your name on it and a seal, and we'll put it away for you.
Awesome. So,
you're out there. It's now dusk. You're outside of Thandal's Meats.
We should find this bar, yes?
Yep. He said it wasn't very far away.
Yeah, I want to get some rest. Come on.
So,
Okay.
Gex is gonna kind of like look back and forth, like, all these streets are really straight.
Well, yes, being curved or angled would be disorderly.
Oh yes, keeping the town and well informed and very easily exposed. It makes it very attractive. Actually, I think it's nice.
That'd be great city planning.
Yeah. All these straight lines get on my nerves.
I'm going to try and put music in. This may end poorly. We'll see.
Also, did someone fall asleep? I swear I can hear snoring occasionally.
I'm not asleep.
Oh, I'm nodding off occasionally. It's been a long day for me.
Okay, so you guys are going to head to the tavern. You're gonna head over to the
Yes.
Divine Machine, and as you make
On the way, I'm going to bring up if this Heron fellow is a shady character here. We probably need to be careful how we approach him if we do find him, because a bunch of eclectic group of strangers approaching him out of nowhere is probably going to set him off. If he's up to something, he's going to be paranoid in a place like this.
Don't worry, I'm very good with people.
I don't think we need to worry about it. Let's just go find him and see about getting the book.
Okay. So you do indeed find the Divine Machine. It is a very nice looking tavern from the outside. Seems to be moderately well kept. Does seem like the windows are a little bit lower than you'd like. It gives a good view if you're a halfling into in there, but that just makes it cozy, hobbit-like, and it indeed has all the hallmarks of a good halfling establishment. Lovely, gloss red door, brass handle and works. You can hear the sound of music filtering through the glass, and seems fairly popular. So the Divine Machine sits before you. Lots of brass and detail work. Definitely kind of a if you imagine like steampunk plus The Hobbit.
So you're saying it's not a nasty, dirty, wet hole or a dry, bare, sandy?
No. No. Yeah, it's reminiscent of the Green Dragon Inn, Bywater. Combined with diesel punk or steampunk. Lots of like detail work in the brass, you know, machined work in the brass that shows, of course, that
Random
kind of
gears that don't actually connect to anything and have no function.
Not quite that, but bits of it that are cut out and removed, like you would see in gearing and cogs of the time, in order to remove mass, but unnecessarily so in some of this, so that becomes a kind of a motif or style.
See, when I think of steampunk, I think, hey, I got a top hat, but I put gears on it that don't do anything. Isn't that cool? But
Yeah.
I digress.
Or goggles for no reason.
Say do nothing. So it sits before you. You can enter in, make up plans, all go in, one go in. How do you want to do this?
Well,
Not like Matt Webster, how do you want to do this, but like practical question.
I'm definitely going in. I'm definitely going in.
Yeah, go on in.
Let's
I'm
see if this
going in
works.
too.
Do you hear music?
I do not.
Not yet, but
currently hear
it
music.
could it could take a second. Like,
Okay, I hear it.
Nothing is currently playing on the jukebox if they're using the jukebox.
yeah, it says nothing's playing. Did you add it to your game and? then
Okay, so
start
I
playing?
added it to my audio. Now what? Okay, and I hit play, but obviously that doesn't make it play.
Oh, do you have to
You mean
trigger
in
it by
Discord?
the sheet?
Is it in Discord?
No, he's doing it in Roll20.
Oh.
Oh, should I do it? Is it easier to do it in Discord and make music play in the
No.
background?
Well,
in
you can
Discord?
get bots, but I have no idea how that works.
I've looked into it. It's incredibly annoying and difficult to set up, and it
Yeah.
will eat up your bandwidth if you have
Yes.
like throttle connection. I saw something about triggering music to play when you move to a different map. Do you have to trigger them by map, or can you just tell it?
You have to set it on the map settings for that to work. So if you have a track or a playlist, you click on the little blue map button to open up your list of pages, or aka maps, and then you find the map, and then you hover over the map until the little blue map settings thing pops up with a white gear on it, and you click on that, and then you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there will be a drop down menu for you to select either a specific track or a playlist to play on when that map loads.
I heard something.
Oh, I got it. Now let me try.
Okay, now playing is 03 The Tavern.
Ah,
I hear it.
Yeah.
I got it.
this is as close as you're gonna get to something exciting.
Okay, I don't hear it, but I hear it through someone's mic.
It might take you a minute to get it.
I think I'm just gonna refresh, and it should probably play.
So yeah, you hopefully you hear something akin to this. I can't adjust its volume in your world, but assume I want it to be not offensive. Hopefully it's quiet enough for you. So yeah, you come in and you do indeed find a well-appointed tavern. There are indeed an above average number of halflings, but indeed mixed races and indeed mixed representation of the plains. There are all kinds here. Doesn't appear to be super seedy, but there's lots of people coming and going. There's a well-appointed bar with on the left wall. You see the halfling seems to be coming back and forth, but his height appears to be able to reach over the bar, and then you realize he's going back and forth on a platform that's set up, and he's indeed making his way back and forth in the bar. And it is quite a nice place. It's probably the nicest, cleanest, and sanest tavern you've been to in your time so far in the Outlands.
So Tarek is actually going to hang back because he wants to make a grand entrance. Are there windows on the front of the tavern so that you can see inside the common room?
Yep.
Okay. I imagine there are lamps or candles, or there's a fireplace or something, that's providing some measure of light.
There are hanging lanterns, but it's it's dusk, so they're not all lit. There's some lit in the back.
Okay. Well, basically, Tarek is gonna kind of peek in the window, and before he goes in, he's gonna cast Affect Normal Fires to make as many of those lanterns and candles and things as he can go down to the barest glimmer. And then he's gonna open the door and walk in, and as he does, he's gonna cause all of them to flare up directly, because there's a Lord of Flame entering. And yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. Is this just like a cantrip or a thaumaturgy, or what does this do?
Yeah, as a fire genasi, I can cast Affect Normal Fires once per day. And let me pull it up. I think I can affect like a 10-foot area with it at this. It's a pretty useless spell, so.
No, it's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, no, I mean you can do cool flavor stuff with it, which is what I'm trying to do. But mechanically, it's almost completely useless.
Most of the genasi powers are useless, except for maybe the water genasi. Create water once a day.
I mean, at least you have something. At least you have something you can do once a day. My special power is once per week.
Mm.
Oh, did you roll on the tiefling table?
I did.
Nice.
What'd you get?
Yeah, it might be once per week, but it's almost certainly more useful than Affect Normal Fires.
Oh, I mean, it's useful for combat. I can summon a swarm.
Oh,
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm looking for Affect Normal Fires in my stuff. There we go. Alteration.
It's literally the first wizard spell in the PHP.
The music disappeared, by the way.
I think we hit the end of the track.
Yeah, it doesn't play on loop.
Oh, you can set it on loop.
So yeah,
now you'll get it on loop. Thank you for letting me know. This is literally. I am a total Theater of the Mind person normally, but I have this great Erdenstern music selection, so.
I can affect a 10-foot radius. It will last 2 rounds. So basically, the first round, I reduce all the flame to be barely anything. And the second round, as I enter, I make it flare up as much as I can.
It lasts for 10 rounds for you. You do it as a 5th level.
Oh, I thought it was as your level.
Nah, it's just as 5th level, no matter what you are.
Oh well.
All the genasi are just as 5th levels.
Great.
Pretty cool. At your level, it'll suck at level 20.
It kind of sucks no matter what. But that's how Tarek is entering the bar. Just to make himself look cool, because he's a Lord of Flame.
So yeah, you choose a 10-foot radius of them to do this in. So you choose middle of the room, end of the room. 10 feet isn't that much, actually.
Yeah, whichever has the most flames in it to affect. Whichever will be most noticeable, basically.
So there are several over the bar to keep it well lit and to kind of encourage people to be conversive there, not necessarily cause trouble. And so that's the most well lit as it is. So they do indeed go down, and then as you enter, they flare up, and faces turn to look towards the door, and a number of people note you as you come in. And do you enter right in with kind of a flare, or do you? How exactly do you enter?
Yeah, I'm trying to stride in with dramatic and noble posture. I don't know how successful that is, because he's kind of a tool.
Yeah.
He's nodding graciously to the peasants, that kind of thing.
Do you have any appropriate skills?
Oh God, no.
So an unskilled roll on performance. What would take as a penalty?
Probably depend on people's relative opinion on Ganassi firemen or Ponzi lords.
I have terrible charisma, so I'm just gonna roll a charisma and see what happens.
Roll your charisma, and I'll give you an appropriate penalty for your behavior.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Oh.
twice my charisma score.
I say this GH as you walk in. Boo!
Well, actually, as you do walk in, one of the you notice a what appears to be a lawkeeper step up from the bar, and he does the lawkeeper walk. You know the one. Steady and stable, rooted, feet shoulder width apart, comes over to you and says, I believe what we have here is a disturber of the peace. What is your business? And you see a very serious looking elf with gray hair, very clear cut clothing, a tunic, no extra, no doublet, no any fancy clothing, very, very straight looking. What do we have here?
I am a
Explain
Lord
yourself?
of Flame. The flames sense my presence. They respond to me. They know their kin when they sense them coming. As for my presence here,
Did you take a proper immigration pass? I'd like to see it.
I show him my papers.
Says here you've signed that you've read all of the rules and regulations appropriate to visiting automata and do promise hereby to keep them. You have failed to keep your word. You are a disturber of the peace.
In what way have I disturbed the peace?
You've interfered with this fine establishment's lighting. Notice subsection C, paragraph B, article 2. No interference with ordinary operations of businesses permitted in or around the vicinities of automata. Those who violate this... Yes.
I certainly did not interfere. If the flames wish to greet one of their own, that is their business. I can no more help the behavior of the flames than I can help the behavior of that gentleman over there. And I point at a random...
Yeah, and he says, you seem to underestimate my skill set. With a 19, I am quite aware of your use of your racial ability. Oh, you were going to say something, Dwarf.
I know. It's this. Drago rolls his eyes so hard that they almost fall out of his skull.
That is an appropriate reaction to this kind of behavior. Do I need Mr. Hot Stuff? Do I need to take you into the Council of Orders chambers in order to let you cool down for a little while? Or do you think you can control yourself and accept a black mark? If I find you behaving this way again, I'll have to put a little bit of water on your flame.
Ooh, he went there.
Uh-oh.
Is that clear? And a little smile, ever so slight, on this very orderly and lawful elf creeps over.
So while he says that, Gex is going to approach the elf and say, Excuse me, do you have your forms and papers that show you have the authority to practice law in this town? We should be able to see those at any point if you're going to proclaim that you have authority.
Well, if my lawkeeper's clothing wasn't any indication, here. And he unfurls what looks somewhat like the contract that Bilbo signed in the movie, not in actuality, which in the book it's terribly brief, but in the movie it's unnecessarily long. And indeed, it has all of these stamps and marks and
Or the rings.
validations. Well, Hobbit. Yeah, the Hobbit. In what's his name's version of the Hobbit. It's unnecessarily long and convoluted. In the book, it's nice and short. But yeah, he unfurls it, and it's stamped and documented, and there's little bits of gold and little bits that are highlighted and bracketed, and it's quite long, and it does indeed say that this is a member of the Council of Order, authorized and deputized to administer the laws of automata in her vicinity and surroundings, as well as within a certain distance of the gate itself into Mechanus.
Well, very good. Your forms are in order, and do you have the appropriate form that also shows that your lord's forms are in order?
Roll whatever you think will keep you from having a negative response from the elf.
I'll say charisma. It would be
You're just gonna
unfair.
take a second. Yeah.
It would be unfair for me to just declare intellect in that, so I'll go for the charisma.
How beautifully symmetrical. Apparently, the lords of Mechanus approve.
I should hit the craps
It
table.
is balanced, as all things should be. Thanos would be proud.
So, so your natural charisma is 14. You rolled a 7. You had a significant penalty, and he says, "Yes, but I keep them in the office."
Well, you should bring those along with you, and aren't you aware that you
No,
should be
actually,
carrying those
I'm not allowed to leave the office with them. And if you insist on pestering me in the middle of dealing with an incident, I will be forced to deal with you under subsection 37 of Article B, which includes interfering with an investigation or work of the law.
I am not pestering you. I am just merely wanting to make sure that you can provide adequate identification and documentation.
And as you do that, a similarly garbed, red-haired halfling comes up. Are you talking to him? In that manner? In this place? I'd suggest you keep your mouth quiet while he does his job, or I will be forced to take you outside. Interfering with the work of the law is utterly unlawful.
I beg your pardon.
Dwargo, I guess, pats Jack for a minute, and he says, "Alright, simmer down, lad. Just let them do their thing, alright? Tariq will be fine, and he kinda deserves it." Sit back, let them do their job, and we can get back to our task, eh?
He kind of slinks back, muttering something about wasn't interfering. I just wanted to make sure that they were.
The elf
And
turns.
Dwargo physically tugs Gex basically away from the situation.
Yeah, the elf turns to me and says, "Well, at least some of your party seem to have brains. Are you willing to accept the suggestion to cool it down a little bit?" And again, he puts that little tinge of a smile.
A lord of flame burns as hot as he wishes.
Sorry, it wasn't Tariq. That was who was that was doing it? Sorry, who's my Lord of Flame?
No, yeah, that's me. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, a lord of flame burns as hot and bright as he wishes. But I understand that this place is set in its ways, and I will therefore behave in accordance with your beliefs. I respect that you have your own position on these things, and the Creed of Flame is a creed of freedom, after all.
It is good because a sputtering candle is put out. Fire is always best contained. It's a lesson well learned. I appreciate you exercising discretion. The management, I'm sure, is grateful that I've spoken to you. No one need interrupt the business of this place. Automata is a safe place for business.
As a great sage once said, the burned hand teaches best.
A wise sage. But the best hand is one you've never stuck into a fire. I appreciate it. Come, there's good wine, good beer. It is open to business to you. And that same respect that you give to others will be given back to you. Come along. Rennie, your pint still is unfinished and mine needs to be refilled. And they go back to the bar.
So Leah sees all this and just watches it, and she's like, I was thinking about going around and singing, but God forbid I do that. Ugh.
Yeah, there is a stage. You do indeed see a stage, and there is indeed entertainment, but it appears to be a mechanical automaton playing the bass line, and then there's a little gnome sitting on the shoulder playing strings, and another gnome on the other shoulder playing the flute. So there is music going.
I imagine that they would really like Bach in this town.
They would what?
They would really like Bach.
Oh,
It is continuo, so it's pre-Bach even.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's not even polyphonic.
Well, it is polyphony, but early polyphony, so like equivalent like Monteverdi style.
Yeah, Palestrina.
Exactly. It's basso continuo with strings and flute. Yeah.
You guys are aware that there are strata of nerddom, right? Because that was a pretty high stratum.
Yeah. You are. What game are you playing?
That's what I'm saying. Like, for nerds, that was a pretty nerdy thing.
I mean, if you wanted not nerdy, there's Warhammer.
True.
Or 5e, apparently, because that's where all the cool kids are.
Hey, 5e has its good points.
Let me tell you something.
No addition wars,
5e
please.
are the opposite of cool.
Hey,
Those guys are
Hey.
turbo nerds.
let's all
Turbo
agree.
nerds.
Let's just all agree that 4th is the worst and move on.
Oh, I'm not knocking 5th. I'm more knocking the cultural moment that sees movie stars playing Dungeons and Dragons. It's kind of the surrealness, not that it was not meant to be a knock on 5th. It's more that we live in this surreal moment where, what is it, The Rock and all different kinds of famous people admit to playing Dungeons and Dragons.
My life was not complete until I saw Terry Crews play D&D.
Oh god, that was hilarious.
Yeah, Terry Crews is an awesome actor, and I was just filled with childlike glee watching him pretend to be an orc captain fighter.
Yes, but if you really want to laugh at him, the Hot Wings show on Now We Feast, he has a Now We Feast.
I saw that. That was great.
Anyway, so yes, you have this wonderful tavern before you. There's all kinds of people moving. We've had a lot of action, and a fair bit of attention is now upon Tariq and Gex there are eyes upon you. It does appear that Dwargo is short. You're finding this an appropriate place to kind of move about. Things are indeed spaced and statured for someone of a shorter height. For Leah and for Devin, it doesn't seem like there's as much attention being paid to you, as you haven't managed to dictate that any attention be paid to you.
Yeah. I don't think I want to.
Turns out Leah's winning smile ain't enough to draw eyes.
Yet. Yet. No, I don't want to draw attention because I was planning to, but that guy, this is weird. Because your flames, I don't get it. You mess with the flames and therefore you are almost hauled off to jail. I don't think I want to sing.
Nope.
Yeah,
No.
you need like 15 permits just to apply to be allowed to perform in public.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I really like this place. Let's get a pint and get our business.
That's what I've been saying this whole time. Man, this place sucks. All
And
these rules and straight lines and man, fire doesn't like rules and straight lines. Fire does what fire wants.
I think I would have liked it better in Pandemonium.
So as you're saying this, a
Don't
young elf
test
comes
that,
up and
Jack.
says, "You're standing in the door. Would you like to find a seat?" She's
Yes.
a young, nice-looking elf who obviously is
Yeah.
there to serve.
And while you guys were arguing, Dwargo already found himself a seat. He's halfway through ordering a pint.
Did you go to the bar, or did you wait for a table?
I probably got a table.
Okay, so you did get a table. She says, "Your friend is over there. Are you going to join him or block the door?"
Yes, very
Yes,
well.
let's-
And as you do that, you catch the light of a sign that says, "Do not block the door. Maximum occupancy, yada yada yada." There's a big screed on the wall of things that are important about being in this building. And indeed, you do catch sight of a, permit 3336 is required for all musicians. And
As we head to the table, I say yes. And if there's no rule against it, we'd like a round.
no, matter of fact, we give a discount for any table party larger than 4 who orders a round of beers. There's a single of the percentage. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of you gets a free beer.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I deserve a free beer.
You would, wouldn't you? You look like you know how to run a room. And she says, "We have all kinds of beer, but the house specialty, of course, as you would expect in a place of order, is lager."
Gex looks really confused for a second. He kind of leans over at whoever's nearby and goes, What does law have to do with law?
It's automatizer.
It's a pun, lad. Go with it.
I'm a father of 3. What can I say? Dad joke there. But no, also because lager, and she says it follows all the finest restrictions of and it is the whatever would translate into Elven from Reinheitsgebot, which is the German purity laws for lager. And she says we follow the law even when we make beer. And she indeed brings back what is possibly the best Pilsen style, very light, very refreshing, very good with all kinds of food lager that you have had. And it is nothing like an American lager. It is
Yeah, can I get some of that in a
in a growler.
in a growler? That's gonna be my new hobby now. Every time we go to a new plane of existence, Drago's gonna get the local beer.
Who wants to pitch what the name of this, the Automata Wiser lager is Automata Wiser good enough? Or,
I think it should be called the Golden Mean.
ooh.
Ooh.
So the Golden Mean Lager. Indeed, she says, do you have a certified guild standard growler?
No less.
Now that's a shame. We sell them. And she brings out, indeed, what is perhaps the finest produced growler you've ever seen. It is, again, it is glass. She tells you it is finely lined, glass-lined growler with a brass case, and it's all finely detailed and scribed. Is the sign to the whole world that you have.
While she's running her mouth, Dorgo just pulls out his coin purse.
Yeah, she and for 3 gold, it is filled and it's reusable. So it's like the real world. You buy the growler and then keep bringing it back to your favorite brewery.
Yep.
So
Dorgo
3
just
gold,
gives
it
her
is
the
full.
gold. It gets the growler, and boom, that's another thing. And boom, I guess at this point, since Dorgo gets more permanent living space, probably should have like a shelf for all of this stuff I'm gonna be getting.
Add another 8-pounds to your encumbrance.
Yeah,
I got
you
16
need
strength. I can handle it.
you need a bag of holding.
Yeah. Or you're gonna end up with a volumetric problem.
We'll just get him a Yeti cooler to roll around with him.
Oh,
That's terrible.
I would love that.
Well, that
You going down the cobbles of some, terrifying city, clackety, 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 clackety.
yeah, taking it into the dungeon,
You don't need a 10-foot pole. You just push it in front of you.
Yeah. Well, no, because it might blow up or something. No.
Yeah,
He doesn't want to blow up the beer. Yeah.
So I have the image of him with one hand holding the cooler and another hand holding like a 10-foot pole in front of it. It's like
No, just send in the wizard first. Wizards are more disposable than beer.
Hey.
And she does bring out the beer and puts out a menu, and it is indeed it is an exceptional menu. It is, again, probably the finest menu selection of anything you've seen in any tavern. Everything is perfectly matched to being with food in company. Nothing is too heavy or too out of the ordinary. There's indeed what draws your attention is the fine selection of chilled ales, and this is notable because, well, you're in a medieval setting, and it was actually far more common to have ale warm or near room temperature, chilled in the basement. That basement temperature, 55 degrees, 50 degrees, than it is to have it chilled. And indeed, their fine selection of ales includes chilled ales, kept it magically cool.
There's an ice method in the back whose only job is to hold your mug for 5 minutes before they bring it out to you.
He's just holding on to the ton full of beer. He's a dip a minute. He swims in the ton of beer. Keeps it cool. Not nearly as sexy as what Coors tells you keeps it cool.
But on the other hand, it probably tastes better than Coors. What am I saying? Probably. It definitely tastes better than Coors.
It does. It's you have cask beer is normal, and it would be normal in a medieval setting. So at most everything is cask, but is indeed exceptional. Great selection of food, great selection of indeed the best selection of beer you've seen. It is as close to having a tap list in a modern sense as any place. And indeed they come from everywhere, but only on the lawful side of the spectrum.
That makes sense.
Plus, when you convert all the prices to copper, they're all prime numbers.
Yeah, they're all prime numbers. Infuriatingly so when you calculate your tab at the end of the day.
Huh, I thought the brewmaster knew a lot about liquor.
There is no liquor.
Sorry, I should rephrase that to ale. There you go.
It seems that they prefer lager, but yes, there is a fair selection of ale as well. But Really, they would probably want some mid-fermenting magical yeast. Sadly, yeast prefers to either be bottom or top fermenting. What can you say?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be sitting back, put
Scanning
my
the
growler
room.
away, and drink, and I guess drink out of a mug.
Who just decided to summon...
I didn't. I'm testing. I was testing the macro.
Okay,
Not to
because
say, because wow.
Because that's going to end well in the lawful pub. Let me summon insects. If you thought the elf was a dick before,
It was that Ganassi guy. I don't know. He just had a chip on his shoulder.
That would be good.
so yes,
Scanning the room. Is there anyone in here that matches the description of
Hiron?
Iron? Yeah,
No.
older fellow.
No, but roll your intelligence.
There you go.
Yeah, you don't do not see anybody that looks like that. There's a lot of people, and you do seem to get though that while lawful on the surface, there are parts of this room that just by the nature of the geometry might be suitable for conducting illegal business. But it doesn't, you don't see, and you look into those dark corners, but don't see any illegal business occurring.
Alright, I guess we're gonna need to ask around then.
We could ask the
Are you
waitress.
gonna send Gex? Huh? You gonna say?
Nice.
That
I'll
was...
do it. I'm great with people.
I'll go up and try to talk to the barkeep. He's the most likely person to know, and if Byron is a regular here, then he clearly doesn't mind him being here. So he's probably not an enemy or someone who doesn't like him.
So you go up to, you're going up to the bar
Yeah.
and gonna seek out the barkeep, going back and forth.
Yeah.
So you kind of make your way in, kind of sideways to the bar, like you do when you would like to order something. Or are you gonna wait at the end of the bar? How are you gonna do this?
I'll order something because I'm trying to get information out of him, so it'd be courteous to also patronize him at the same time.
So yeah, he says, "What can I do you for?"
Was hoping to get a drink and possibly a little bit of information. My friends and I are looking for someone.
Bet you there's a form for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sell plenty of drinks and no information. What would you like to drink?
Do you have any wine?
Yes. It's not our specialty, it's all imported. As you can see, the climate here is not conducive to grapes.
Of course.
Is there anywhere you'd like any particular location, style?
Celestian, if you have it.
He thinks and says, I believe we do. Celestia is what?
Mount Celestial, awful good.
Yeah. I had to look at my Outlands map, sorry. Yeah, he says, absolutely. Would you like a strong wine? A bubbling wine? A red wine? White wine? Rosé?
I'll take a white.
White. And indeed, he says, I'll have one brought to your table and put on your tab.
Would you happen to know of a man named Heron? we have something of his and are trying to return it.
He says, well, he was here at one point. Used to have a shop. I haven't seen him in a while. And, why don't you roll me int again?
Sure. No.
This is a great idea to be asking about him at the bar. You should keep asking.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think this is a fantastic place to ask people in the most public location in the bar. And matter of fact, there are two humans on either side of you who look just like the kind of people you should ask about High Rock.
All right, but the barkeep's not coming. Not.
Yeah, the barkeep tells you he used to be here. He comes in every great once in a while, but I haven't seen him in a while, kind of thing. Used to have a shop.
Okay.
But boy, you think it's really a smart idea to ask these people around. With a 20, I mean.
Yeah, you feel proud.
Yeah, you think that? Yeah, you think this is exactly what. I'm sure that I would, if I only knew my Forgotten Realms lore good enough. I'm sure that there's an analog to Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
This is exactly what that fictional sleuth would do. Ask very publicly at the bar about the person they're looking for.
I think Sherlock Holmes is fair game for D&D.
Yeah, it's better than some of the other stuff that crossed over with the realms.
Well, if you're talking about Chris Perkins or whatever that was.
I was more talking about the fact that Elminster owns multiple 6-shooters.
Elminster has been to the real world, according to the official lore of the game.
Well, in the official lore of the game, the barrier is permeable. Yes, you can get there from here. To use a Bert and I reference, which is probably too regional for anyone in this.
Oh, you could say Elminster might have written a few of the rules in D&D itself.
Yep. So, yeah, but you do think this is a fantastic place to be asking. Yeah. You're sure somebody here must know something.
Yeah. I'll just start carousing a bit and just trying to get to know the lay of the local clientele and everything, and see if anyone seems like they're more his type.
Well, we've got two humans nearby, and humans are naturally harder to read. But, and they seem to have had several beers, which seems to you more than one should have. If you were lawful, you wouldn't have more than. You're not sure, but certainly 3 or 4 probably be too much. And they seem into their.
I'm sure there are very strict rules about how much you're allowed to drink.
They seem to be in their cups a bit.
Yeah.
They do seem to be businessmen of a sort.
Okay. Well, I will offer to buy them around and just start talking to them.
Okay.
So, yeah, just like basic carousing to start with.
Yeah, there's 2 gentlemen on either side. Yeah, they say, oh, well, we've been doing business here, and this is our favorite place to stop every time we come through. We've been purveyors of wax, guaranteed wax seals. These, when affixed to a document, are certifiable from the creation to their verification. We can guarantee that they come from a specific lot, and indeed, each lot is unique to each customer. Gives a chain of custody. Do you have a need for such a thing? We came here only to find that the market has decreased. Recently, there's been a decrease in crime, so I guess less of a need for seals of verification.
I would think a place like this would want to have things as secure as possible, regardless of the amount of crime.
You'd think so. I also think they haven't been trading as much. But that's the cynic in me. We have our regular customers, but we haven't added a new one in years. But we came and sold enough to make a profit. But shareholders, you know, they always want growth, growth, growth. It's what happens when you're publicly traded in, and he names a city in a Greyhawk setting somewhere, in Earth.
How much does wax like that go for?
Well, it all depends. Basic red wax is easy. That's our primary business. And for what we do is we take from you a drop of blood, and then we bring it back to our alchemists and our arcanists, and we formulate from your blood a specific wax. So that process itself takes 50 gold. Just right up front to develop that. But then once we've made it, each lot, which is good for 100 stampings, is 20 gold. So your initial upfront costs would be 70 gold. But after that, you'd be able to guarantee that anything that you stamped would, first of all, stay sealed, and second of all, it would be yours, and verifiably yours, because we sell to those in the need for 20 gold the verification kit that will indeed verify that the transaction has been secure from endpoint to endpoint.
Impressive.
We believe so. We believe it's cutting edge.
So you say you come here a lot?
Well, regularly, on a quarterly basis. Generally that's when we need to bring, because we sell a certified product, we bring it with us all the way. And I guarantee that it's sealed with my blood, that this case, and he shows a now empty case, this case is being closed from the factory, and when we bring it inside our individual packages, which we then validate to show that indeed chain of custody all the way. So we come once a quarter. We do a sales presentation, which sadly this last trip didn't have anyone attend. But if you and your friends over there are interested in having a chain of certification verification program, I'd be glad to present it to you.
I don't think we'd have need of that.
Issues a winning smile.
But perhaps in the future.
Well, if there's anything you need verified, certified, tracked, or otherwise in the Outlands or beyond, here, and he hands you a business card. And you can tell me what his name is, because I've entirely made this up off the seat of my pants, so I have no idea. But indeed, there is a business card in his hands, and it's he totally is if you've ever had the misfortune of sitting next to someone on a sales trip who actually is kind of not who wants to kind of sell to anybody.
Yeah.
That's what you've done. This is not the salesman who is like, is going to his customers or potential customers very targeted. He's kind of casting around desperately.
Yeah. This is a guy who has a quota and no idea how to meet it.
That's exactly.
Okay. Well, I'm going to nod politely and back away towards our table. And I'll take the card.
Yep, you
Don't
take,
make any sudden movement.
yeah, you take his card, and there's indeed lots of people moving around. And yep, lots of people, lots of ears.
Gex is just drinking at the table with Dwargo and whoever else is at the table.
I am putting that card on my equipment list because, like, 5 levels from now, we're going to have the weirdest use for wax like that.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee it, we are.
But unless someone stops him, Tarek is just going to start going up to random people in the bar and saying, "Do you know where Hiron is?"
that case, I will stop you.
Probably a good call.
So you begin. Are you going to go ask around? Tariq?
Well, I'm like walking up to a random person and saying, "Excuse me," and then I guess Dwargo's come. What the hell do you think you're doing? You're just gonna stop telling random people.
Yeah. So yeah, you don't then ask anyone.
Apparently not.
It's for your own safety, and mine, and everyone else's.
Well, how are we going to find the Hiron if we don't ask people about him? We can't just sit here until he turns up. That could take who knows how.
See, taking a different approach, lad. You see, you are about as pleasant as donkey shit.
Ouch.
Now, the two bards in the party, however, they're right people pleasers. So we sit down, we drink, keep our eyes open, and let them do the talking.
If this were the city of brass, I would have your beard burned off, and then every inch of you roasted alive for that kind of unbelievable rudeness.
How loud do you say that?
Not very. loud enough for Dwargo to hear.
To kind of do one of those like close whispers, intense close whispers, but not like, if you knew who my dad was.
Yeah. Dwargo visibly rolls his eyes.
Do you know who my father, who wants nothing to do with me, is?
Because, like, here's Dwargo's thinking, if he was somebody important, he wouldn't be here.
No, that's completely accurate.
Yeah, no one who's important would willingly hang out with us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. What did we witness? I'm sorry, I had to step away for a second. At the tail end of the questioning, because I want to see if did he ever realize he was being stupid or what?
Are you asking if Tarek has any self-awareness? Because the answer is no.
Okay. He's like, he was, yeah. Oh, okay. Because what Leah does is when she finishes her drink and she calls another over, then she's very pleasant and nice and has nice things to say about the waitress's hair and things like that, and then asks about the guy that we're looking for.
Hiron?
Hiron. Yeah, but she makes it nice.
Yeah, roll your charisma.
Okay, I don't know. Let me see. I have got to
or some other appropriate skill if you have it.
Or
what proficiency or skill if you have it.
Attributes. So if I roll wisdom, well, let's try that. No. Charisma. No.
Charisma should be her real strong suit. So.
Ta-da!
Okay. That'll do. She normally she kind of says, I don't normally. We're not supposed to talk about customers. This is a bar, a tavern after all. We serve all types. But Hiron was a little weird. He seemed to always be up to something. But and, she looks at she's looking down at the book. That looks like one of his things, and I wouldn't keep it so public if I was you. There are some who take an interest in him. And she's saying this, a red-skinned tiefling woman comes up behind her and says, "Oh, I'll take care of their bill. I think their time now is to head out. And anything they talked about, just forget it." And she says, "You..." And she pauses for a moment.
X looks quizzically at her. And who are you?
Someone who has your best interest in... Well, someone who takes a care to things in this universe. I think it's time you step outside for a moment. I just paid for your tab.
Well, yes, that was very nice. Thank you.
I believe that the best thing to do would be to step outside. I can tell you're not from around here and don't understand that the very walls have ears.
Oh.
Well, okay, yes, let's go then. And Gex takes like a big draft of his mug before he gets up.
And so she escorts you out into, the outside. And, oop.
Music just died.
Yeah, we step outside and, come on. Why are you not... Well, I figured out how to play one piece of music. Well, apparently I have no luck with... there it goes. So you step out into the kind of lovely city of brass, and it's a nice the warm air after warm evening. It is that kind of nice summertime, and she says, "Where did you find that?"
Well, we found it in Sigil in a shop owned by an actuary.
A cat.
Well, he wasn't always a cat. He wasn't originally a cat. He was only a cat after he died, and then he became a petitioner.
And what do you plan to do with it?
We were looking for the halfling Hiron to return it to it.
I don't think we know that it's a cat.
Whoever just spoke, you're really muted.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what that was.
Sorry, is this any better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, my laptop has a really temperamental mic, so yeah. I just wave it around in the air and that usually fixes it. But I was saying, I don't think we've ever definitively learned what race Hiron is.
The guy from the smoked meat shop said he was a human, didn't he?
Yeah.
I thought for sure I heard he was a halfling, but that could be. I mean, Gex has been drinking tonight, so.
Yeah. Well,
No, we just heard that it was a halfling bar.
Yeah.
Well, if your plan is to return that, and merely to return that, then I might be able to help.
That's all.
That was the plan.
And who are you?
It doesn't matter. A friend of Hiram. Someone who wants to keep him from getting entangled. You see, merely talking to you is probably enough, although I think I've done enough to distract them, since 3 of me left, although you didn't notice. Already, and left with people who look just like you, so hopefully they follow them. I seem to have lost them.
Gex is like looking around in every direction at once, like, what?
neither here nor there. If you intend to return that to him, he's hiding in the place that the Council of Anarchy would least think to look for him.
Did you say Council of Anarchy?
I realize you have a speech impediment. Does it affect your brain as well?
Gex just can't catch a break.
I think he asked mainly because we have no idea what the Council of Anarchy is.
I asked because this is a place of law, and anarchy is antithetical.
Well,
She takes out a coin.
Although there's like a little council for anarchy, so let's get organized, create chaos.
we were told that there were criminal elements doing quite well in this town, and if there weren't criminal elements doing quite well in this town, it would have shoved off into Mechanus at some point.
Yeah, she takes a coin out of her pocket, and on the front side is an orderly wheel. And she flips it over. On the other side is another cogged inscription. And she says, "Is this coin good or evil?"
The coin is neutral.
It's a coin.
The
It's a
coin
It doesn't
The
have
coin-
an alignment.
the coin doesn't have its own morality, but can be used for any morality.
Oh, but it is a means of exchange. As long as it's not stolen. It's a means of legal exchange, lawful exchange. I give you this or take this from you, and I give you or take from you that which is remunerative for it. Correct?
Yes.
Might that be something that might be considered wrong in the eyes of some? Maybe. But trade, law, and chaos, good and evil. Well, let's just say that in the coin of law, good and evil are merely two sides. And you are in, after all, the gate town of Mechanus. Automata is a place of order, but do not mistake order for goodness. Does that make sense, my fellow tiefling? It seems your teeth and your brain have gotten a bit dull. Or your tongue. Does it make sense?
Gex just kind of looks at her darkly for a second and goes, "You said you were going to help. How can you?"
Well, what is the place that the Council of Anarchy would least like to look? Say they were looking for someone like my friend.
We don't even know who the Council of Anarchy is, so no, we have no clue what that answer is.
Given the name Council of Anarchy, the last place they'd probably look is wherever the Council of Order is.
Or within the Council of Anarchy itself.
Yeah, one of the two.
The Council of Order. There it is. He is hiding in the Council of Order. He's hiding in a closet in the Council
Wait.
of Order.
Must be some
I-
closet.
I'm not interested in your friend's sexuality. We just want to hand him his book.
Ouch.
Do you realize when this was written and the lack of self-awareness that is in the writers? Or perhaps actually, since this is a Monty Cook adventure, frankly, it might actually be a matter of self-awareness, and perhaps he intended this to be commentary about the social conditions of
This was
gays
written
in the
back
mid-90s. So, I
This
don't
was
know.
in the 90s. That's not a thing yet.
It was a thing. Come on now.
90s was very, very cool about such things. It's the beginning of the change, so yeah.
But still, coming out of the closet was like a thing. Like,
Yeah, I think.
so totally.
It's still a thing, but yeah.
Yeah, but like now it's like a mild thing, but like back then it was a huge deal when somebody came out of the closet, like a major public figure.
Yeah.
When Ellen came out of the closet, she was already a public person.
Yeah. And hers was 96, I'd say.
Yeah, so it's right about that same time, and it was like described as coming out of the closet. So maybe actually there's some kind of weird social commentary going on, because this is, after all, Monty Cook.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, where can we find the Council of Order then, and this closet?
Right by the gate. Right in the middle of Automata.
I would imagine that we're not allowed to just go prodding around in their closet. Is there a good way to go in and get there to him?
Well, it's open for business most days.
Okay,
5
so it's
days
not
a week.
It's
Probably
not
7 days a week.
Thing like that.
Well, you could try now, but it would probably not be the wisest idea you ever had. Closed. Night. What are we getting for rolls?
I'm
Oh, okay. As long as you weren't summoning the swarm now.
No, I'm not summoning this one now. I just wanted to know if it took material components or not, since it's a racial.
No, racial spells don't take material components.
Yay!
They are racial spell-like abilities, right? They're not technically restricted to any of the material component costs for spells.
Correct.
That would be my thought on it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out a way to work in an R. Kelly joke without, like, feeling horrible about it, and I'm having trouble. Not gonna lie.
Probably you should.
Well, that's
Yeah.
okay, because I'm sure that you would piss off somebody with that.
Anyway,
Oh, it took me a second. I just got it. I feel good.
yeah, we should, let's just move on. Let's move on.
You're welcome.
That took me longer than it should have to get that one.
Okay. But she can tell us specifically which closet, and I'm assuming this isn't like we would need to know more, right? It's if he's actually hiding in there, someone would find him, so he's magically concealed somehow within that closet.
What was that?
She said he's hiding in a closet in the Council of Order building, but presumably he's magically concealed beyond that, or someone who just works there would have stumbled on him constantly.
She says, well, all it would take would merely removing the closet from the cleaning rolls. I mean, we are an orderly society. I'm sure he knows how to keep people out.
Fair enough.
Wouldn't want someone to randomly come in and look for a broom or something. Anyway, if you're on the up and up, and you seem to be too dumb to be otherwise, then you'll find him. But if I find that you have some other plan, the law may not be able to save you, and it may end up being the least of your problems in a place like this.
Do you really think we're capable of concealing our intentions to that degree?
I think you're
We
capable
are
enough of screwing it
not
up.
that subtle.
If it wasn't going to interfere with the linear progression of your way through this Slemmy Railroad adventure, I would take that book from you and merely end it here. But I can't, because I'm an NPC. So you must bring it to him and deal with the ensuing chaos.
Your words are strange.
Well, I realize that not everything that is spoken in a play is meant for merely the other actors. And keep in mind, of course, in the great tradition that even includes Shakespeare, the fourth wall is more of an invention than anything else. So, yeah. You have your information. She bids you adieu, and she literally, it goes down a pathway, and it turns dark for a second, stays dark, and then you can't tell where she went.
Oh, I need to learn how to do that.
Well, if you had her tiefling ability, you would. But it is indeed evening. Getting on evening.
Yeah, we need.
Getting on into it.
Whoever fixes the fourth wall is earning their money.
You only need 2 to hold up a roof. Come on now.
I fully expect one of us to ascend into some kind of god of the fourth wall. Or possibly god of breaking the fourth wall.
I believe that's in the Astral Plane book. We'll have to refer to that.
But anyway, so
The Council of Orders chambers are not open at this time, is what we have gathered.
That is correct. So why don't we find an inn, go to sleep, and go find him tomorrow when it opens?
Yeah, there's probably a curfew here. Like the
I'm
rest
positive
of
there's a
here.
curfew here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you head back to the inn, get rooms.
Some
Yeah.
rest sounds good, yes.
So, how many rooms will it be? Sorry, that was the woman. Are you gonna? Yeah, the young girl comes up. How many rooms will it be?
How many are in the party? Jeff hasn't counted.
We're at 6 right now.
Do you have 6 rooms available?
We have 4 normal-sized rooms, and well, one of you could squish, and the dwarf would be just fine in the halfling rooms. Right? Nobody else is short.
Yeah, no.
no.
We have 4 normal, human, standard height rooms, and we have 4 halfling rooms.
Let's just double up.
Dwargo, are you feeling cheap, or the halfling rooms are cheaper, half price? Stack 2 on a room.
Kexter's giggling.
Drago just. Actually, will he have to share the halfling room with anybody?
No, he'd have his own room.
Alright, then I'll take the halfling room then. I mean, height-wise, halflings and dwarves are fairly close together.
Yep. The only thing is you make your way to the rooms. Standard room rate supply, which I cannot remember and always have to look up.
5 silver pieces for 1 night in a common room.
But you're not in the common room.
Well, common quality, like, there wasn't a higher quality listed.
Yeah, 5 silver is fine. So
Yeah, Tarek is insisting on his own room.
I think everybody just wants to have the room that doesn't have Gex, I assume.
Ouch.
Saying,
so wrong.
Poor Gex, he's just getting crapped on. this
Hold on,
entire
he wanted to play this character, but it's totally like when you're on the school trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're that kid, Gex.
I'll bunk with Gex. If he has night terrors, I may need to cure him anyways.
No shit.
Yep. So there you go for your 2 3/4 gold. So you managed to there indeed. The only problem, Wargo, you open the door. It is indeed all perfectly sized, but not necessarily perfectly weighted. It does seem like everything is meant for someone who just is a little less stout. But other than that, it seems fine.
If the bed breaks, that will be a problem. For the next poor bastard.
Oh, this is why I have a die. Nope, doesn't break.
Thank God.
So, anyone plan to do anything in the evening? Anyone paranoid, going to just stay up and lean against the door?
Gex is going to sleep.
Alright, this is a subtle. Is this a subtle way of saying I'm fat?
Hey, dwarves aren't fat; they're big boned.
They're dense boned.
It's not
Yeah,
the
yeah.
it's not the plate mail that makes you look fat. It's the fat that makes you look fat.
I'm not fat. I'm big boned.
Um, oh God.
So there
So
you go.
Tarek is probably going to spend some time in the bar trying out really bad fire-based pickup lines.
Yeah.
Really
I-
bad.
Really?
I feel like he would do that. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, hold on. I need to find something appropriate for such stupidity. Oh, that one would be good. There we go.
Hey,
I-
baby, I hope you have protection, because I do 1d4 a round.
Oh.
I feel like Tarek has the right blend of unjustified self-confidence and lack of self-awareness and just general arrogance to try to pull that kind of thing off.
Yeah. The only problem is you have an adventure to be on. So if he derails it, it literally is not my fault. Let's see if this works.
The worst that could happen is he gets arrested, and that may just mean he gets to the Council of Order building ahead of us.
So you make your way into the room. Everyone else has gone to bed. But indeed, it does still seem to be active and still well populated. The music is going, and there are lots of women at the bar. Most of them seem to be paired up, but give me an intelligence roll.
I can't even make a roll that's one of my good stats.
No, you see a couple of real lookers. Yeah, it seems like there's a pretty good selection of young ladies at the bar, or young men, which.
I don't know. Let's see.
You're gonna roll,
Yeah, no. Either one is acceptable.
I'm about to say it. Your actual odds are like if you roll a d20, is on a 1 you'd be gay, and on a 2 to 3 you might be bisexual.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't. I thought about rolling on the Kinsey scale, but whatever.
I know people in my life who consider themselves yes sexual.
Well, now we just worry about labels, but yeah, you approach the
Tarek
first.
is enough of a narcissist not to care that much.
Yeah, you're really anybody who loves you, you love.
Exactly.
So yes, you walk up to an androgynous looking. You don't really care about races, do you? You don't.
Not one of the short ones.
So
Probably not a water genasi.
Hey, opposites attract.
Black spawn
They
lizard man.
also repel.
Troglodyte.
no, a barrier.
Okay, sure.
Daddy.
Oh, so wrong. And
But so right.
yeah, the barrier turns and looks at you and. Can I help you?
Insert fire-based pickup line here. I don't have any prepared for this, honestly.
Okay, roll your roll either intelligence or charisma.
Let's go with intelligence.
That is, will you win by being winsome or being witty?
That's Tessa's witty repartee.
Yeah, so you managed to kind of... It's not great, but it's... Oh, jeez. Yeah.
It's bad enough that it's endearing.
No, but it's straightforward. It doesn't have the it isn't quite as bad as Gex's.
Oh, you somehow have. Wow, Gex cannot win. He somehow has less game than.
That was Jeff's line, by the way, and it wasn't even mine. I googled.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so the barrier responds positively to your approaches, and indeed, you can tell now that you're closer. Although it seems androgynous, it does now upon noticing the distinct the dimorphic nature of barrier indicate that, yeah, it's a female. Yeah, but indeed, it's very close cropped hair and close shorn, and so, but very receptive.
Oh, he actually has a shot. Holy crap!
Well, if she didn't roll so poorly.
Wow. Just it's clear, like the stars are just aligned perfectly.
Roll your charisma, because I will not RP this. As RP-ish as I am, I will not RP this part. We will quickly go to a curtain.
Yes,
Yeah,
you do
fine.
realize the GM is a pastor, right?
I know. I'm just like, whoa.
Whoa! Oh, wait. What's your charisma's a 7?
Yeah. I rolled crap, and Fire Genasi have a penalty because they're arrogant assholes.
Yeah. You spend. Let's see. How you're an. It's probably about 8 o'clock at night, and you spend 8 hours trying to woo this barrier. And it goes back and forth. But she quickly realizes that you are
Lame.
You are totally not worth it. And so, 8 hours into this process, she thanks you for paying for her drinks, and so deduct 2 gold. I assume that you were paying for her drinks, and even if you weren't, she walks away, and the tab is on your tab when you leave.
Sure.
And you are. It is the bar had emptied out. You close the bar down, and continue to talk. Which this was fortunately perfectly matched. She was a narcissist as well, so you fed for a while, but eventually she realized that you were not just a narcissist. And so you do not get any bonuses for sleeping, and you will be well, you didn't sleep. So you'll take any appropriate penalties for not sleeping. Because 8 hours after 8 o'clock is 4 in the morning.
Sure.
And I have to look up what the penalties are for not sleeping in 2E.
I
Fatigue.
You know, I count it as a win that Tarek was able to talk to someone for 8 hours without them trying to kill him, honestly.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Well, you also how much did you share about what you're doing?
I'm gonna roll wisdom for that, and it's not gonna be great because wisdom is my second worst ability score.
Sorry, didn't mean to trigger that.
Yeah, more than I should have, but less than you would fear, I think.
It's certainly more than you should have, and and you shared about when did you come onto this party? You joined. Trying to remember. Sorry.
We were outside of bed.
Yeah. I was in on the hunt for the Autognome just after
Okay.
the Boars.
And you were sent by the master. You were sent by Kazum.
Yes.
Yeah. So you revealed a lot. You know, you try to impress her, I assume, with your lineage, and you, of course, have this wealthy patron in Sigil. You're on a mission, and you have an immensely valuable book. And she seems to just, she listens because she was a narcissist too. But now that information is in the mind of a narcissist. And you come to your room. Were you sharing a room?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So you make your way into your room. It's 4 o'clock. It's just a few hours before folks will get up to memorize spells and do that kind of thing. What do? Oh, Gex.
Having way too much fun
You're
over here.
You're killing me, Small.
Yep, that's the sound of the GM dying inside.
So what are you gonna do there, Tariq? Are you feeling good? You're feeling good, right? Your ego was stroked.
The only thing that was stroked.
That was the only thing.
God.
Thank
Yes,
goodness.
thank you for that.
Remember our priest.
Probably just briefly resort to the stereotypical douchebag excuse of probably a lesbian anyway, right?
You said it to yourself. You look in the mirror, like.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, man. I just
I just want to apologize out of character for my character being such an awful person.
Don't worry, we love your character, but we will not be shedding tears when he dies.
Nah,
Well, I
your
think the
character's
great-
fine, dude.
It's good though because
you're self-aware about it, it's fine.
yeah, I want to be. That's interesting because I would have not thought that your character would have gotten kind of the highlight in the session today. So it's good that you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was. I wasn't really expecting to go this far with it, but anyway, yeah, he's gonna just get what sleep he can, honestly, because he's gonna have pleasant dreams of people just groveling before him.
Yeah. Oh, great master of flame. Yeah, you have the dream like the gave you a hard time, gets his comeuppance and things like that. I'm trying to find exhaustion. Curse you, 2E, and you're better than for the period indexes that are still sucky.
I'm gonna need to stop.
Is exhaustion even a thing in 2E? Or
It is a thing, but I think it was in later books like Combat and Tactics and stuff like that versus.
Knowing what they usually do with that stuff, I would think it was Constitution.
There is exhaustion, but it usually has something to do with using an ability or a spell, such as Berserker Rage causes exhaustion after a certain amount of time, and then also trying to sprint. If you fail a Constitution check while you're sprinting, you become exhausted.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's rules for getting exhaustion for jogging and running on page 120.
Yeah.
And also force marching.
but the word sleep finally occurs. Oh, curses. Sleep, 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 sleep. I could never run a stream. Either that or I'd need an in-ear monitor and some book behind me.
So this says make a check at the make the Constitution check at the end of each day's forced marching. This is forced marching and saving throw versus death. That's funny. Well, that's just, but it's a lack of Constitution scores. So nice.
Yeah, the saving throw versus death is actually just to become exhausted, unless it's a mount. If it's a mount, it's a save versus death or die.
I would say roll Constitution when you get up at 6 in the morning or whatever, and you lose any of your appropriate. Do you have any spellcasting abilities or anything that would need to refresh?
Looks like
I have affect normal fires once a day.
But you get that as a ratio, so that is not tied to your memorization.
Yeah, I'm
So
a
I guess-
fighter. I don't do spell.
Yep. So roll your con, and we'll see how much this affects you for the next day. Yeah, you're going to take a penalty.
Sure.
Right, you rolled over.
Yeah, I rolled.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, I'm rolling great today.
Yeah, you're going to take a -2 penalty on any checks that relate to Constitution or some kind of ability, and you're going to take a -1 to hit.
Okay.
You're just tired and sluggish. Man, you need a good night's sleep. I feel like that's a fair kind of penalty for it. Not sleeping is a pretty... You're not a teenager.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a teenager, it's like, yeah, I get a night and a half, no sleep. Yay. Then all of a sudden, like, 22, you're like, no. So, yeah, you're a penalty. Wake up in the morning. There is indeed a bell that chimes at 6 o'clock. And breakfast is served at 7. This is a lawful place, after all. Nobody sleeps till 9. Do you want to do any business at the inn? Or do any planning or stopping at any things? Or are you going to head to the Council of Order upon its opening?
I'm gonna have breakfast and I'm gonna study my spells up in my room.
Yeah. I'm gonna definitely want some breakfast, but you know, that's standard stuff.
Yep.
We don't have to role play that or anything.
No. Just making sure that nobody wants to do anything else. You're in a town, so it has things. So you never know when the players are going to go. I feel like a beignet and not coffee instead of what the inn has.
Hey, and Tariq could try to hit on some more people. So hey, we should.
That'll end well. Maybe he'll make the fire get more fiery.
Yeah.
Too early. Not enough sleep.
Yeah. So you can tell that Tariq didn't. Yeah. Well, anybody who passes it in will know that as you sit around the breakfast table, will know that Tariq did not get enough sleep. He does seem very tired.
Yeah. Hang on. I try to imply that I was doing interesting things.
The face-saving bro defense. Uh-huh.
Nah.
Yeah. And it comes off as well as a face-saving bro defense.
Yep, no one believes you. That's a second 14 he's rolled today, actually, in Aggressor's Charisma.
For charisma. It's the day that Tarek makes a charisma roll is going to be the day that he dies. I'm going to predict that right now.
So, yep, you have your dinner, your breakfast, you all figure out that Tariq did not indeed have as good an evening as he self-presents. And you can make your way to the Council of Order if that's what you wish.
Yeah, might as well.
It's probably in his... Yeah.
I'm going to do... Nope.
A hefty die roll.
Nope.
Sounds like it's made of metal.
It is copper. So yeah, you guys. Only one. Shannon, what's your int?
14.
So you get no. That's plus nothing, right? Plus 1. Plus.
There's no pluses on it.
Yeah.
Nope. Yes. You're pretty sure you thought you saw someone, but when you turned around to look closer, there was no one.
Yeah. So
So you kind of the radar went up. You got a ping, but
I kind of shake it off and go back to, Tariq and holding out my hand and for somebody to pay me because he didn't score. But I don't. But the funny thing is, nobody thought he would. So I mean,
it was even odds.
Nobody was going to make that bet.
No. Like, I was going, here we go, pay me, and y'all are like, no. Oh well. And then she looks around and says, for a minute I thought I saw something, but you don't. Did any of you feel that you saw anything, or was that just me, or I don't know.
This whole place has me uncomfortable. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, it's these straight streets. Like you feel like someone's watching you all the time, and someone is watching you all the time. It's those damn law enforcement guys. Tarek says quietly.
I mean, you can't even look up and see the other side of town. How unnatural is that?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Okay, I guess, I guess we can head on there, but somebody keep an eye on our back, so making sure that we're not, in case somebody is following us.
Okay, so you managed to get to the Council of Order, and it is indeed very orderly. There's a queue out front. There's people with papers, and they are, they go, oh, what's your business? Are you here for export controls, import controls? They go through a whole list of the kind of thing that loves paperwork, taxes and like visiting your town office or something like that.
I want the to fill out the form for a board then.
Oh, form 3336. Yep, absolutely. You'll need to speak to the Interior Performing Affairs Deputy Chief. She's also in charge of grain certification and Wheel Standards Bureau. So you'll find her in room 6.
Thank you.
The rest of you gentlemen have business here?
Oh, they're with me. They're just coming, because I don't like to go anywhere without them.
Oh, good. Because I'm trying to think of where we need a troupe like that to perform. Good to know that how old are you?
Oh, Lord, I don't know. I'm
That's
young.
why there's age on your character sheet.
I'm looking. That's what I said.
I thought you didn't. I thought you left it blank.
I probably did.
Which is what I would have done. Yeah, I was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, all I entered is my name, race, and gender. Oh, well. But I'm young for a half-elf. I would say 20 years old if I'm a human, so, yeah.
Well, I did you a D88 to give you 27. That suitable?
What you got? I got what?
27.
Okay, yeah.
I D88, I kind of put, D66 is anyway, other systems where if you need those kind of, that range, it's kind of a eyeball getting a number in that.
Where do I enter that? I don't see it.
Well, he says, anyway, you look like a nice young lady. I'm glad to know that the rest of these won't be trying to caterwaul all evening.
Oh, no. They won't try. I know. I'll just smack them if they do. Just smack them.
That's a good... Well, physical violence should not be encouraged, but their lack of a Form 3336 might necessitate incarceration.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't want that.
Yeah,
Some of them look like smart fellows.
Okay, well, we're gonna go. Bye. Nice to meet you.
It'll be good to hear you perform. And it's, it is obvious that this is a lonely half-elf.
Yeah. Well, who, what? The person who I'm talking to? The person...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The kind of person standing out front of the door of the Council of Order who's telling you which room to go to.
Yeah. She's like, well, she'll try to play nice to him because, we might need a nice person to help us out in case we get in trouble.
Holy moly, somebody's playing this game like that has consequences.
She'll flirt with him a little bit and, kind of play with her hair while she's talking to him.
Roll your charisma to see how much of an impact this makes. Not whether it's a fail, but whether it's going to stick with him. I think your natural charisma...
Yeah, I made it.
Yeah, so yeah, he'll definitely remember you in a positive way.
Yeah. Okay, and then now we go inside.
Yep, yeah, inside. Yep.
Yeah. And say, okay, which room is the room where he hides?
Well, we better start checking closets.
He's supposed to be in a closet somewhere.
Okay, so you let me hold on. Let me go to my map here. Yeah, you enter in and you start walking around. There's a series of rooms to the center of the building and a series of rooms on the outside of the building and a hallway that goes all the way around, kind of like an elementary school.
Oh, yeah.
And as you walk through, there is clearly labeled door number 1, door number 2, and this is doing a... so you walk in, and this is doing a left-handed search, as it were. Those of you who are in the fire service, you understand that. Doing a left-handed search. And you do indeed come to a room marked closet.
Does it have a designation beyond closet?
Just says closet.
Well, here we go.
And so you begin to... do you just pull on the door, or...
Is there anyone else around right now?
There's various different people milling about. There does seem to be, there's a lot of people looking at rooms, standing up front of rooms, sitting chairs by rooms. It's town office, bureaucratic hell.
Nobody's looking at us. And she reaches up and grabs the door and opens it.
So you step inside a large storage closet, which is filled with reams of unused paper, stacks of fresh ledgers, and crates of inkwells and pens. And you were given... this is not included in the linear presentation of the adventure, and your DM forgot. You give the signal that you were given, which is a knock and whistle combination.
Oh, okay.
And you wait for a moment, and an invisible doorway appears, and a simple door opens, and out reveals a cautious, uncomely, that being not well kept, face that peers out at you. Yes, who it? By the spire, who are you? And before you can answer, the man begins to pull back into the doorway, closing the door as he does.
Shoving my foot in the door.
We're looking for you. We think.
Wait, and as you do that, the book goes. I'm here. And he turns and starts laughing as he peeks out. And I apologize. Well, and as he does that, the cat nudges his way in and says, I knew they'd get here eventually.
The cat came with us?
The cat did not come with you.
Well, this is
but
a
the cat
mystery.
does indeed seem to have a series of collar that you did not see previously, and several large things that indicate that it is indeed past certification to be here. And if you were to understand how things worked in Automata, you would realize that indeed it has a sentient cat sapient creature certification in one of them, so it tells you to be treated with all the rights and respects appropriate. And I knew that this would be a wise idea to hire you to tell you to return this. This is a fantastic. This book is the book you sold me. And he goes, looks for a second. I didn't sell a book to a cat. No, it's me. It's Jissen. Look, I must return this book. It's simply the matter of things. And he looks at you. Looks at the. Hiron looks at the group and goes, "So you're returning my book, or is you have the book? The cat is talking. What's going on here?"
The cat is a petitioner. He's the departed spirit of a man who bought a book from you, this book from you, the book from you.
We're returning the book on the cat's behalf.
You're still holding the book. Are you going to hand it to him, or what's going to go on?
Are you indeed Hiram?
I am indeed. And who are you?
We are no one of consequence specifically. However, we are agents on behalf of this petitioner, Jism, who bought this book from you, and we are returning.
Well, you keep saying you're going to return it.
I'm not holding the book. I think
Dwargo hands him the book.
He's as you hand him the book, and he says, "I'd like to thank you." And as he does that, the door flies open to the closet. Capture the old man, Jezreen. This gentleman says, "But kill the rest of these sods." And with that, it is a perfect timing. I couldn't have made it happen any better. So, the last thing we hear as the sound echoes and the screen cuts to black in one of those awkward cuts from like a 90s series when they thought they were being edgy, having two episodes that tied together, is, "But kill the rest of these sods." And just like Star Trek: The Next Generation, to be continued.
Nice.
And we'll end there for today.
Last time on the Great Modron Mark.
Yeah.
Cue Majel Barrett's voice.
Yeah, exactly. Michelle Barrett. Oh. Yeah, but this is probably more like Time's Arrow, Best of Both Worlds. There's a deep geek cut. Okay. So,
you should have kept the darn book.
If you had kept the book, it still would have happened. This is a linear adventure.
Nice.
So, yeah. So
I know, but I get to hit. I get to make a hitch and moan anyway.
So, it was we gave 40 XP for their start reward. For recap, I believe we gave 150 last time as our base.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're gonna do 175 as our base.
Okay.
I don't think any. Who was our MVP?
I think Tariq.
Tariq,
Yep,
yeah.
Tariq. Guess what? You managed to lame your way into more XP.
Yeah.
Because Tariq is a hilarious character.
That was my plan all along.
If it was, he got us all.
So 100 being it was pretty good to 200 being it was excellent. Do we give him a full 200?
He entertained me.
200.
Yeah.
I was entertained.
Yeah.
Take a full 200. Anybody feel that there was something else that was contributed that was embodying the character but sacrificial, or anything that was like move the plot forward, or felt that added to the game in such a way that they felt should be rewarded?
Actually, I'd like to point out that when we got to the Council of Anarchy, or wherever, the Council of Order, Leah had a great alibi to get us into the building.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to call these token rewards. I'm manufacturing my reward scenario for 2E, because back when I played it, it was just throw monsters at my brother and friends.
Yeah.
And give them XP.
In the alphabetical order they appear in the monster manual?
Not quite that bad. Based upon whichever picture looked the coolest.
Even better.
So take
Pokemon style.
Take 50 XP. Yeah. That would explain why they died so much, because I'm still not sure I understood hit dice at that point.
Rock Grub, I choose you.
Tarask! No. Yep, so take 50 for that, Shannon.
Thank you.
And anything else? So we're gonna call that base, MVP, and kind of I don't know what I call it, token rewards, kind of moments that stand out to people. Any other token moments?
Who was it? Was it Trig, or was it Devin? That got a 20 on something.
That was Devin.
That was Devin.
That was Devin. Yeah, once you got a 20,
awesome.
it was pretty awesome.
Thou
Yeah.
shall be rewarded for thine failure.
Yes. Well, once he failed, he really had to do it right. I mean, like, this is a great idea, you know.
Although, really,
I
you
am
guys
going to
walked away
find
with a
a
business
use
card.
for that wax contact at some point.
Certified and verified wax. The certified, verified wax salespeople. Salesperson is that doesn't come up in your D1000 roll. That only comes out when you've got a sick, twisted mind. So I feel like that was a good engagement. Take 25. You can do these like token rank 1 to, decreasing order of awesomeness. I just feel like 2E is pretty stingy with XP if you only reward for killing things.
I mean, it could be worse.
Yeah.
It could be like basic, where the
Your gold.
the award for the award for killing things was minor, but you got XP for.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I kind of liked. In some ways, that's better, because maybe there should be some other way. But the interesting thing is rereading 2E as a much more experienced role player. There is a bunch of stuff in there about rewarding your players for role playing.
Yeah.
It really is. It is thoroughly geared around rewarding players for role playing in the daily session, and then giving additional stuff based upon things killed by fighters, or there's great gradated rewards. But role playing really was important. It's just as a 12-year-old or whatever, I didn't understand.
Yeah. Here's the thing, role-playing XP at a certain point can be so good, depending on how generous your DM is, that it could often eclipse your actual combat XP.
Well, we haven't fought anything in 2 sessions, have we? I've been here both times. We haven't fought anything.
Yeah, but I confirm that I got more XP from RP so far than I did from killing.
Yeah.
That's because at this point, it's probably easier to get you XP to the point where you don't die than to throw things and see what happens.
Yeah, and
Fair enough.
Planescape is a heavy RP campaign anyways.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all setting and flavor. If you want to just kill things, there's
Forgotten Realms for that. Yeah.
it's Forgotten Realms. Okay, well, thank you very much for coming. I hope you bore with. I hope I made sense in my fever and my congestion.
I'm
It was
sorry
fun.
you're sick. Aw.
Hope you get feeling better soon.
Thanks for
I hope so
DMing.
too. I was almost not going to do it, and then Jeff was like, "I'm looking forward to it." I'm like, I can muster it.
Dude, I look forward to it every week. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I barely noticed that you were sick, by the way.
Well,
You
that's
did really
good.
well.
Yeah, it was a really good session.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so. I feel like Mateo, I didn't quite get enough for your character this time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we touched on everybody else. I apologize. I didn't. There was no hook that really snagged you. With 6 players, sometimes it can be hard. But I didn't have a hook for you. I apologize. I was thinking that as we were coming towards the end, I just was like, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do to.
What can I say? Oh. Sometimes you gotta make your opportunities.
Yeah.
Well, that's always true. I remember. Anyway, we can close it up. I was just thinking years ago I GM'd a Star Wars RPG where one character who had a heavy weapon wanted to sit in the very back, while everybody else ran forward, and then they got upset at me that the other guys destroyed all the things.
Nice.
Like,
It's your fault, DM.
yeah, it's my fault that you wanted to stand there behind the barrier, behind everything protected, and have your giant weapon, while everybody else went into the woods and slaughtered the scout troopers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easier in person, I find, too, because, like, you get the visual cues of, like, the person being bored at the table.
Mm.
Whereas on here, it's like, oh, crap, I keep seeing his character on the Roll20, like, down below, but I'm not remembering anything they've done, and crap, I want to get them back in, and I was like, shoot, we're on a railroad that hasn't yet gotten to the conflict. And it seems like he's more of a conflicty guy, so
It can be tough for druids if you're in a town.
Well, I think
Although they do have to have decent charisma, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Druids do have decent charisma, but there is a lot about city life that's pretty much against their religion, particularly books, and that was the main kind of hook here. So I was kind of, trying to take a back seat, because if it came down to it, it would be, cross your 2 index fingers, hiss, and back away from the book.
Wait, Jews canonically don't like books?
Yes, they don't like anything that's made out of trees, other than their shield. That's it.
Lots of medieval books were made out of parchment rather than paper.
probably
Sure.
it's made out of parchment. And
Or vellum.
Parchment or vellum.
well, both of them, they're going to involve scraping
Yeah.
skin of animals.
They're
Yep.
specifically barred from using any kind of magical book, and then also they cannot use scrolls of any kind. Anything that you write on, basically. Unless it's
That's
like a
weird.
stone tablet or something,
Yeah,
they're-
people
they're
call it
completely-
druids hippies, but I guess in your case it's more like
Druids
No.
are just full on iconoclasts.
yeah.
They're like eco-terrorists, pretty much.
Also, I'm grateful that this is theater of the mind, as 2E often is, because there's no way in 5E, there's no way all of you could fit in this closet based upon the size of it.
Yeah, Tarek is way too flamboyant to fit in any
Plus,
closet.
I think we're all a bit too old for R. Kelly anyway.
There's the R. Kelly joke. God damn it.
You
Well,
guys have
all
a
I
good night,
know-
okay?
Yeah, I don't know anything about R. Kelly, so
Have a good
I'm
night, man.
the
All right,
whitest
later.
white
See you next
guy
week.
ever.
R. Kelly.
And for those viewers who are still watching, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that follow button up at the top of the Twitch screen. Looks like a heart. And if you're viewing on YouTube, please follow the channel and hit that bell button for notifications when we upload new videos. Thank you very much for watching. Check out our links to PayPal and Patreon down the doobly-doo. Bye-bye.